In my next operation, I'd like to turn the outside diameter of this entire part. So I'll start a new operation of turning, and I'll go to turning. Now, as you can see in turning, over here we've also made many improvements, and we'll see exactly what they are in a moment. First, again, we'll start off with our submachine, and in this particular case, I want to again use my upper turret with my main spindle, so I'll leave this exactly the way this is. Now let's go to choosing our geometry. With choosing our geometry, we've improved the way we can choose our geometry by using the solid. I'll click on solid, and let's take a look at how easy it is to create our geometry. I'll click on new, and all I have to do is click on the first surface where I want to start, click on the last surface where I want to finish, and if we take a look at our view, you can see exactly what was picked. It picked the entire geometry exactly the way I want it. I'll just accept that chain, and again we have the option of modify geometry. I'll leave the modified geometry extend at the beginning exactly the way it is, and my end extension, I'll extend it by 1 millimeter. Next, I'll choose a tool, and the tool I will choose will be the exact same tool I used in my last operation, which is tool number 1. Again, over here, I choose the exact position I want to work with, and I want to work having the tool in this particular position. Now let's go to our technology. In our technology, again, you can see we have here icons showing exactly the way we want to work. If you want to work long external, long internal, you can see the picture on the bottom as well. All of them are over here. I'm going to start off by using long external. Also on the bottom we have the work type. Notice what happens. Right now I have here rough, and I have here then rough semi-finish strategies as well. If I do finish only, I don't have rough here anymore. So I only have the tabs that I need to work with. I'll choose rough, which is what I want to do, and then I'll go into my roughing operation. I can work either rough type, either stairs or smooth. I'll choose smooth. I can have my step down, make it at 2 millimeters. Retreat distance, keep it the way it is. I can work either one way or zigzag, whichever way I want. I'll leave my roughing offset exactly the way it is. And now let's go into our semi-finish finish. I'm going to work with semi-finish with either turning method, and the same thing with our finish itself as well. If I go into strategies, we have the choice over here of descending motions or non-descending motions. In this particular case, I want to work with non-descending motions, and as you can see, it will not go into this area at all. Now, let's do our break edges. In break edges, we've added a major improvement inside our geometry. If we take a look at the part, you can see we have edges that are sharp over here, down here. And let's say I wanted to add a chamfer over here, or a radius in this area over here. I used to have to create a sketch in order to do that. Now we can do this automatically without creating a sketch. I have here internal corners and external corners. I can say, okay, for my internal corners, I want to use a fillet with a radius of 2 millimeters. I can have my external corners, say, using a chamfer. I have here also an angle, and I also have the value of my chamfer at 2 millimeters as well. If I click on preview, you can see the chamfer that was over there. You can see the radius that was created over here. And this is done all automatically without making sketches on the part itself, just by using internal corners and external corners. Right now I'm going to just work without doing my internal corners and external corners, and let's go now into our link. In our link, we've added something which is always asked for a long time, but now we were able to do this. Approach point. We can do any kind of approach point we want. as shown over here, telling the tool exactly where to go before I actually start cutting the part. And the same thing with my retract point, telling it exactly where I want to go with all the different types of options when I finish the cut itself to its retract point. Let's start with our approach point. And I'm going to choose the option of direct. Now, you see we have values over here, direct from 0, 0. But I can also go to my screen and choose the point itself. By clicking on pick, for example, I will click on this point over here. And by doing that, you can see the value has gone in over here exactly the way it was chosen. I can change this if I want. I can say, let's have this at 150 millimeters in diameter. And I'm going to change my Z to 30 millimeters, for example. If I click on pick again, you'll see that my point now of my start point is over here. The same is true for our retract point. I can go in here, again, I'll choose direct. And this time when I do pick, I'm going to choose this point over here, about over here. And I'll accept that. Now, again, I can change these values as I want. I'll change this to say, again, 150 millimeters, and my Z minus, I'm going to say change it to minus 180. Again, if I do pick, you can see the point over here as well. If I want to change this even more, let's say minus 150 and do pick, you can see that that point was changed as well. So I have complete control as to where I want to have this retract to. Let's do save and calculate, and then run a simulation again using the option of turning. Now, I'll move this to exactly where I want it, and we'll run a simulation slowly. As you see, the part is being cut across, and let me stop for a moment. You'll notice when it starts exactly from the point where I wanted it to start. Let's finish off the simulation. Now you see it takes off exactly the way I wanted it to take off. It'll get to these areas over here in a few moments, and you'll see it won't go into these areas because I click do not descend. Finishes off to these areas, goes on that part over there, does the finish cut, and then retracts to the exact point where I wanted it to retract.